I did not return to Charleston, South Carolina until I was 13 years old when I essentially met my father, John, his wife at the time, Leslie, and my brother, Rory. Later in life was Philip, my other brother. At that time, I was a troubled kid, and they took me into their home and showed me love, support, and were able-hearted to make me part of their family at a moment's notice. This took place a number of times in my life, and I moved to Milwaukee, where eventually I was with them again. I remember my father, John, in this way, that he wanted to be there for me. He showed pride and compassion at anyone's individual capacity for who I was at the time. He was eager to be involved with me and was always kind to my friends. My father, John, was a friendly man, always talking to people, and had a gift for making friends. I believe his humility gave him the ability to have intelligent conversations with just about anyone. He was able to identify with most walks of life. I pride myself in having the same attributes as him in this respect. We both root for the underdog and carry ourselves just about anywhere. Baseball and history, along with art, of course, were always highlighted interests of his. Along with the Navy, the man took great pride in being in the Navy. He loved his art, and I will never forget his first correspondence with me prior to us meeting in Charleston. He sent me a display of Civil War artifacts. There were some bullets and some uniform buttons, along with a picture of him with his mustache and his hat, holding a sign that said, "Hi, Luke." I'm sorry. Always drew my attention to the way he held his cigarettes. He had a very distinctive way that he held his cigarettes. I could pick him up out of the lineup by hands with cigarettes. I was always grateful as a kid that he only smoked half as well. I remember having some very good talks on the porch over a cigarette, and the words he used always made me think and pay attention when he talked. He had, to me, anyways, a very obscure vocabulary, and he had a very strange way of wording things. I don't know if he did it on purpose, but I always enjoyed talking with him. He was always kind to me and showed interest in anything I was or wasn't doing. I think he was always trying to make up for lost time. I think we both were, and he had wished we were closer, as did I. I think we had a good relationship when we were together. At the end of our close distance relationship, I remember him being there for me and only wanting the best for me in a really unfortunate situation. I know that he loved me and his family. I don't quite know how he felt about me moving from Milwaukee to the East Coast because I never bothered to ask him. Unfortunately, this became a two-way street, and I basically lost contact with him and him with me. I love my father, John, but this is how it became. As much as I wish it wasn't like this, I accept his passing left us both this way, isolated and disconnected from one another. This was no one's fault, but nonetheless, I hadn't talked to him since my wedding 2 years ago. Besides being my biological father, he was my friend. I can only hope today, that John knew that he knew I loved him and I was proud of him. I'm sorry. I hadn't seen him in so long, you know. He was always very, very good to me, and very good to a lot of people around him. You know, he always showed chivalry. He was always a very kind person, always quick to help others, open the door. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. You know, he's very polite. He touched me in a lot of ways that I didn't have experience with being kind to others like I saw from him. To me, he was like I said earlier today, somebody told me he was very unique. And he was a very unique man. And, you know, he was my father. You know, I've always cared about him and had concerns for him concerning just how alike we are. We have a lot of the same issues in life. We had a lot of the same, just the way we carried ourselves were a lot alike, and it was kind of weird considering that I wasn't, you know, I wasn't raised in his house. So it was kind of like weird how alike we were when we met. But my time with my father, John, was short, sporadic, and thin. However, my time with my father will be lifelong, consistent, and abundant, because my love for him will always be with me, as his love for me was always with him. My memories are all good, and I'm grateful for his life. I'm grateful for my brother Philip and Rory. I love both of you. I'm grateful for my loving stepmother Leslie and the Kellings. I love you. And you know, the Kellings have always treated my father John with dignity and respect. The Kellings have gone above and beyond to be family to my father, and I am forever thankful. I am also thankful to have been treated the same. God bless you for never letting John fall from your hearts. I thank John R. White today for life, for memories, and for love. If there's anything I've learned from my relationship with my father John, and our relationship is that I should never wait. I should never hold back love or concern, apologies or praise. I need to reach out and follow my heart, because love isn't meant to be lived so far apart. I just want to say up here that I literally had absolutely no idea about his health issues. He was a stubborn man, and we're a lot alike. You know, we're a lot alike. And, you know, I didn't want to cry up here, but prior to walking up here, I noticed his urn, and, you know, he's in there. And I just can't wrap my head around that. And I love you, Philip. And I'm sorry that, while I stand here in front of everybody, I'd just like to say I'm sorry that, unfortunately, it's been the same with us, and you too, Rory, that distance has been distant, and it doesn't have to be what it was. And I'm going to do the damnedest I can to make it not that way. Your dad loved you. He loved both of you, and I know that. I'd like to say a prayer. I'd like to read a prayer. I say this prayer often to myself, and I wanted to say it here today. It's the Serenity Prayer, and it goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace, taking as he did this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that he will make all things right if I surrender to his will, that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with him forever in the next. Amen.
Amen.